Greetings YouTube, Dylan Olson Art here with another drawing tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you all how to draw Hiro Hamada from the Disney movie Big Hero 6. So grab a chair, get a nice piece of paper, a good pencil, sit back, relax, take a breath, like this video, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to draw is a circle that's about the size of a grapefruit or a softball. And remember to always draw very loosely and lightly at first, because not all these lines are going to be used later on. And when you're drawing a circle, remember to use your shoulder and not your wrist or your elbow or your fingertips, your whole shoulder. Okay, then we're going to draw a bunch of different lines that will set up where's going to go where. This line will be where he's going to be. We're going to draw him wearing his iconic helmet. Then we're going to have a line here. This is where the eyes will start out. A line here where the eyes will fall. And then a line here for where the nose will be. And then we're going to draw a curve on the top. That's going to be where, it's going to be like the top of his helmet. We're going to put a line down the middle for where his middle of his face will be. And then another little curve at the bottom. That's going to set up where the lower part of his helmet will be. And the first thing we're going to draw is the shape of his helmet. And then we'll do his face. So first thing we want to put down is some lines on the side to indicate the sides of his helmet. And they're going to be slightly curved. Then we're going to draw more lines here. We're going to draw a kind of a half triangular shape at the top. This will be the top of the helmet. And then we're going to draw these curves here. This will set up where one side of the helmet will go. And then right by this line, we're going to draw these curved lines here. This will be the chin strap. And then we can go ahead and darken some of those lines and put these round curves at both the top and the bottom of both sides of this side of his helmet. Just darken that in. You're going to put these curves here. They're like these C shapes that go like that. Put these curves here. Okay, and then we're going to put some edges on both sides of this part of his helmet that go like this. So you just follow the shape of that curve. Then you put these in. And then you're gonna bring this curve up. You can also draw another curve here, and you can make it slightly smaller because Hiro is turned just a tiny bit. Then you're going to want to curve up here. Okay. And then we're going to draw, then you should draw this fairly big shallow U shape right at the top of the helmet. And be sure to carry a pencil sharpener beside you. And then, right from here, there are these S curves that go up like this. So we'll draw those. And then you're going to draw these shapes that go like this. It goes from thin to thick, from the bottom to the top. So we'll get that. And then at both sides, there are these round, kind of square looking shapes. They connect to these kind of earpieces that he has. If you want, you could also like pretend you're drawing a cylinder on both sides. It's really small cylinders. So I'll indicate those. And then they also have these lines that go in the middle. On both sides. Okay, and then you're going to draw these little horn pieces of sorts on both sides. They go like this. Okay, and then about close to this, right on the side, there's a stripe that it's like a red stripe on both sides. Except on this side, you'll do it from here. Okay, Now, before we get to the rest of his face, we need to draw in his hair. And his hair are these simplistic V shapes that go like this. We've drawn hair a bunch of times in these videos. So it's basically like 4 zigzag lines. And we're going to draw these curves on both sides. These are like, it's like the padding of his helmet. Like, you probably have seen these on like motorcycle helmets or regular bike helmets. And then put a zigzag line here. Okay. And then, before we get to the rest of his head, we need to draw this chin strap. And on the bottom sides of the chin strap, he has these buttons. One of them is going to be like a half circle here. And kind of a half triangle right here. And it goes like that. And the same thing with this side. You draw a half circle and a triangle that goes like this. And then you can put 2 parallel lines in the middle of his chin strap. Let me darken in the side of his helmet padding. Maybe you can put a little hair detail, put 2 more here. So we got all those basic shapes in. Now we can move on to his face, starting with his eyes. And his eyes are they're kind of these, they're not perfect shapes. And he also has these little eyebrows. So we'll just need to darken in those shapes. And the eyebrow as well. I'm going to darken in that eyebrow there. Darken in the eyes. And now we must put in the details of his eyes, starting with the irises. And we're going to have him in the middle so that he's looking at us. Give him a pupil inside the eye. And then put the little white spot for the highlight. Shade those pupils in. Shade the eyebrows in too. Let's give him his nose. It's basically these 2 curves here. If you want, you can close it off like that. And last but not least, give him a smile. Just like that. Maybe put a little corner mouth side there. And then if you want, you can put a line here. This is going to be his collar. Put a little curve here. This will be one side of his neck. Maybe put a little shoulder line like that. That can just to make it look good. And then if you want for some finishing details, you can shade in the padding on his helmet here and here. Shade in his hair. If you want, you can also color in the buttons on his helmet. Maybe this part of his collar, his neck. And there you go. That is Hiro Hamada. Hope y'all had fun. Be sure to keep drawing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.